Lake Arrowhead is beautiful. It's magical, but it lives very differently than most of Southern California. So before you fall in love with a home and buy up here, there are three major things that you absolutely need to understand. Because if you don't know the difference between how it looks and how it actually lives, you could very easily end up with the wrong house. If you're new here, hi, I'm Chris Rainwaters, your favorite real estate witch and a licensed realtor here in Southern California. My family has had a relationship with this beautiful mountain for over 30 years. So when I talk about Lake Arrowhead, I'm not speaking as someone who visits it. This mountain isn't just a weekend to me, and that perspective changes what you see. So let's start with the thing most buyers assume is included, the lake. Because owning a house with a Lake Arrowhead zip code doesn't automatically mean that you have access to it. Lake Arrowhead itself is privately owned and managed. It's not public, which means access is tied specifically to properties within Arrowhead Woods, not the broader zip code. So two homes a street apart can have completely different lake privileges. If the lifestyle is part of why you're buying, like boating, beach clubs, or just walking along the shoreline, then the property has to be in the right location. That's not something that you want to assume, and definitely not something that you want to discover after escrow closes. I want to add here that that is something that can and has happened here. And FYI, even within Arrowhead Woods, that still doesn't automatically mean that you have the right to use the lake. It means that the property is eligible to join the Lake Arrowhead Association, which is then what grants access. So eligibility and active membership are two different things. That's another layer of nuance that doesn't always show up clearly in listings. And it's something that you want verified early in the process, not assumed. This is what I mean when I say that this mountain lives differently. So the lake is one layer, but the second thing that really changes how a home lives up here is access, especially when the weather gets real. Snow and ice aren't just a pretty aesthetic up here, they're real life. That charming, steep driveway that feels dramatic and beautiful in July, it can become completely unusable in January. A home without a garage might not seem like that big of a deal until you're scraping ice off your windshield at 6 a.m. and 28 degrees. And level entry, that matters more than people realize. Carrying groceries up exterior stairs in snow and wind hits very differently than walking straight in from a garage. You don't just shop a mountain home for the view, you shop it for how you're gonna live in it all year round. This is where I see people fall in love with the architecture, but forget about access. And access up here is everything. Speaking of access, that doesn't just mean your driveway. It also means where your home sits around the lake, because not all parts of the mountain experience weather the same way. There is a warmer side and a cooler side of the lake. One tends to hold ice and snow longer, while the other can clear faster, and that affects road conditions, driveway usability, and how long snow lingers on your property. And then let's touch a little into the systems behind the house. So most homes in Lake Arrowhead are on sewer, which is fabulous, but power reliability can vary depending on where you're located and how your neighborhood is serviced. Some roads are county maintained, whereas some others are private. And that could mean the difference between you just waking up to a freshly plowed road or you having to hire a plow on your own. And insurance, because we are in Southern California. So this entire mountain does sit in a high fire zone, which affects availability, cost, and carrier options. Look, I know that these aren't fun or glamorous details, but they are details that determine whether your home feels peaceful or constantly inconvenient. And if no one walks you through them before you buy, you've got to learn them in real time, and that can be way less fun, although it can be very exciting. And finally, number 3, the environment itself. So Lake Arrowhead sits at about 5,500 feet above sea level, and that changes things. Air pressure is lower, the air is significantly significantly drier, and that affects your house, your body, and your famous triple chocolate cake recipe. At higher elevations, liquids evaporate faster, water boils at a lower temperature, and leavening gases expand more quickly. So baking at altitude isn't the same as baking at sea level. You'll likely need to reduce yeast, adjust baking powder, add more liquid, lower oven temperatures, or even change the cooking time. There are entire high-altitude cookbooks dedicated to this because it genuinely changes the chemistry. And it's not just baking. The dry air pulls moisture from your skin, so you'll need to drink more water to stay hydrated. And you also may notice that you get winded very easily for the first few weeks as you adjust to the thinner air. And wood things like floors and doors, they can shift more noticeably through the seasons because of the huge humidity swings. There's just no way around it. You are going to feel the difference. So if you're coming up from the coast and you're used to that marine layer life, or you're just more of a tropical lizard instead of a desert one, I would invest in a humidifier or two and find a brand of lip balm that you like. You can thank me later. So now that you know the 3 most important things about living in Lake Arrowhead, lake rights, infrastructure and access, and the environment itself, do you still yearn for that mountain life? Look, none of this was meant to scare you. It was meant to prepare you or initiate you because Lake Arrowhead really is magical. This mountain is incredible if you buy it correctly and know what to expect. If you're feeling the pull to make a move, whether it's your first home, your next home, or your home away from home, you want someone walking you through all planes of existence before you ever write an offer. You can book a private strategy call with me through the link in the description. We'll talk about what alignment looks like for you and find the place that not only suits your unique lifestyle, but that truly feels like home. And if you want to go deeper into the market side of things, I did a full breakdown of the Lake Arrowhead market and where it's headed over the next year or two. I'll link it below. And if you're still deciding between Lake Arrowhead and Big Bear, watch this video next. I think I got it this time. Thanks for spending a little time with me today in my personal sanctuary. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. And may you always find the place that feels like home. I'll see you in the next one.